Hello everyone, I'm Xiao Gang. Okay, we finished talking about attributes. Let's talk about something lighter. Let's talk about this struct. It's relatively simple. We've actually covered most of it already. Let's go over it again, and I'll expand a bit for you. Because when I just mentioned it, you might not know what it's generally used for. You've probably all used structs in blueprints, right? They can be placed into data tables to record some of our info, and they can serve as slots for our save files, all kinds of structs. These kinds of operations and tasks, actually, it's the same in C++, but you need to note that it is different from our IO tree. UObject is clearly more heavyweight. It's like a big knife, right? This struct is like a small knife, something like a small knife or a small brick. So it is used to organize and manipulate our related properties, and it does not belong to the Obre ecosystem. And here, actually, we often make a mistake. Let me think. When did I tell you about this error? This error is more advanced than the one we discussed earlier. It's a step up from garbage collection. This is usually something more advanced people who have some understanding but don't fully grasp it would make this mistake, right? If garbage collection is beginner level, you used to make that mistake. Then at the beginner level, once you reach beginner level, between beginner and intermediate, you might make the mistake I'm about to tell you about. Okay, now let's take a look. So first, how to implement a struct. Still follow the order. First, you need a header file. Then include the corresponding generated code. Then write a struct. Then set the data specifiers and metadata. Then write a name starting with F. Then add the generated body, and that's it. The main thing is the specifier for this struct. We usually use BlueprintType. That is whether to expose it to Blueprint. I usually don't use these two, so no need to worry about them. Okay, so the best practice is to use struct. We often use smart pointers because they make it convenient for us to manage objects and prevent some data issues. For example, suppose I have an image data and the image is 1920 times 1080 pixel and each pixel is RGB, RGBA, RGVA is okay, 4 bytes. Yes, RGBA. Let me think. Yes, it should be 4 bytes. Let me check, yes. So if it's 4 bytes, when I copy this struct, for example, if my character, the book needs this image, my UI needs this image, and my save file needs this image. Does each of them hold a copy of the raw data of this image? That's definitely unreasonable, right? So we manage it through smart pointers. Then when none of the three need it, we release the raw data of this image. As long as one of the three needs it, we keep this raw data in our memory. So this is the usage of USTRUCT. Yes. And USTRUCT cannot be copied, but variables with U property can be used for replication. Then looking ahead, so this is the make and break functions in our blueprint, how everyone should use them. Okay, let's take a look. I'm not sure how this is translated here. USWAG cannot be used for replication. Variables in UProperty can be rapake. Now let me show you a private code. You see this is a DL, and this is a USTRUCT, and this thing, its variables can be replicated over. And here, there is also a replicatable, meaning this thing will be network synchronized. This is a warehouse component, so the data in the warehouse, meaning the data in the backpack will be synced over the network. That's roughly what it means. Okay. Then the blueprint is read-only. Yes, it means only we in C++ can modify it. That's roughly the idea. Then finally, take a look at this. Let's see where we were. Close this. These make and break. What are they? Then we get ours here. Let's just put it here. Let's start it first. Let's demonstrate make break. Simply put, you first need to set the blueprint type. Only then can it be exposed to blueprint. Right? And then Then if your property has a property reflected to Blueprint, then Blueprint can read it. Then you can break it. And if you have a property reflected to Blueprint, Doublet can modify it. Then when you make, you can display this thing. So the simplest example, let's make a fuel mix. Especially, it can help you generate color. It is just an RGB value, right? You see. So this is a make, then this thing splits out, is a break. They appear as a path. Then let's write a break and a take ourselves. Okay, let's just stick it here. Then we give it a blue. Direct reading diagram, right? Add anywhere. Good, this is a direct reading. We let him give him a direct write. Look at how this sentence is phrased. That is to say, as long as you have this blueprint public variable, you can make it. If you have a property that is readable or readable and writable, then the break function will appear. Then your break function here can provide this output pin. That's the situation. So let's first see if that's the case. Grab column 1, grab column 2. Okay, background error. Let's see what the reason is. The name hasn't been changed, right? The back view is what we call public. Hey, it still reported an error. Let me check. Oh, we wrote something very normal, very normal. Because the engine does not allow explicit, it has a reflection system. It takes all these things you marked and remembers them together. If it's explicit, it doesn't know how to handle it. Let's just open a key blueprint here. You see it makes make xg 法估计. You can see because our first variable is not writable in Blueprint, so it is not displayed, but it can be read with difficulty. This is a make and break. One thing, that's roughly it. Okay. It might look a bit different, but the standard should be like this. This one looks different. It might define this color here, doing some custom stuff on its own. Okay, so basically that's it for this struct. Let's expand a bit for everyone. Struct, what can it do? It can be converted into joint damage. Our project just happened to be open. You will find that our plugin inside this iflatech link pluggar, after testing that GitHub already directly downloaded, you can see we have many structs. Each of these structs are all required in uppercase format. Then when we serialize it, how do we serialize it? You will find we can use this serialization, right? We can use this method to manually read the properties one by one and then write it into this string. We can also read it out. But actually, for convenience, we usually do it this way. You can see it's quite complex. This code, later we will teach you how to use the network in Unreal Engine to do these things. You see, we can use the string of the object, a string, convert it to a struct, or convert a struct into a string. We use this module to do it. So this struct is very similar. Actually, there is another way to handle USTRUCT. We can see here. Let me show you first. Later, I will guide you through writing it. It should be fine. This thing might not have been shown to you before. Maybe it wasn't shown in enough detail. So let's put it all together. On this side, we inherit this to developer setting this class. Then we can put some developer setting this class. Our calculation here, developer setting this class. Then we have a struct here. Did you notice? At the very bottom. This struct, its categories are organized by secondary categories, and this struct contains a lot of information. This information, when we finally reflect it in Blueprint, what does it look like? Let's take a look. It needs to be compiled here. It should be pretty fast. Please wait a moment. Let me explain the error to you again. Okay, so how do we do it? Think about it. We need to look at this. Project 13. You will notice our INI here. We just keep it simple. You can see this information. Wasn't this what we just defined in the struct? And then it follows our metadata. Do the classification of the caterable graph layer by layer. Right. Look, we can't modify it here yet because the blueprint is read-only. So roughly, the function of the USTRUCT is like this. Finally, for everyone, let me add an advanced error. Let me add an advanced error for everyone. This error took me a long time to find. It's too messy here. I need to see if there's a way to fix it. Let me handle it a bit here. Okay, I've handled it here. Actually, this is fine as it is. Just click this. See? He changed back again. Let's click it. Hey, why did he change back again? Just clicked, take it in. I see. Hey, that's right, just like that. Hey, clicked and went, me too. It's glitching, yeah. And then let's talk about it. Put it here using this USTRUCT. For example, inside this USTRUCT of mine, I have this UObject new, and it's called object ptr. So this pointer, if you copy it, it cannot listen to the Uber's ptr information. That is the mistake we made before will occur. So if I add, it can trace back to the object that leaked out to prevent it from being absorbed. Oh, the answer is not necessarily. That is, if you put this struct in such a place, I need to test an object monster. Let's go with this one. If you place it like this one, you placed it like this. If you place it like this, that's no problem. Placing it like this is fine because it has reflection. This struct supports reflection. Then the place where this struct is instantiated supports reflection, and instantiating this object supports reflection. This is acceptable as long as this object exists. Then this object points to it is a useful reference. Useful references is complete. So the problem is this object needs to first, it must be held only after it is persisted. So if you do this, let me tell you, then this part won't work because it traces up to him. It reaches this point. There is no reflection here. It doesn't know there is something below it. This kind of reflective thing. So this pointer of his is not a valid pointer. That's roughly what it means. You can go and test it. According to the humidity we just mentioned, we'll demonstrate it to you later. Okay, so we've added a little extra for you on this knowledge of struct. Alright, we didn't include this knowledge in the documentation. This documentation, actually, the official documentation is already very good. own this basic part. It's just that I feel it's necessary to expand on it here for you. Let me broaden your horizons. Okay, so that concludes this lesson. Good. Thank you, everyone.